right here just on YouTube, bringing some type of entertainment right here just for you.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. I got a message. I didn't even look at that. Oh, but good evening, good evening, everybody. So, welcome back to Book Club. We are here for another week, holding each other accountable for reading because reading is fundamental. Reading is key for personal development and everything. And if you follow me, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm really big on personal development. Now, I know this week we're supposed to be reading pages 22 through 71, but I'm going to be real with you. I ain't get all the way to page 71. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I ain't gonna sit up here and fake shake. I ain't gonna sit up here and try to fluff up the words. I could have hopped on Chat GPT to try to fluff in the space that I missed and just pretend like, but I'm not one person that fakes the funk. I'm a person that comes up 100% authentic, 100% myself, and that's how I present myself to you guys. So the pages that I read this week is pages 22 through 48, and that's real. And of course, I'm gonna go over the things that I read and the things that I got from the reading. I'll open the floor for anyone that wants to speak in regards to what they got from the reading, and then we'll go from there. So we're reading The Richest Man in Babylon, and okay. So this week, the key takeaways that I got is that whenever what's that guy name? Um, Dang, I forgot what his name was. It's like it's two friends. It was the two friends that I talked about last week. I talked about the two friends, and they decided to go and visit Arcad, who is the richest man in Babylon, or was the richest man in Babylon, and they decided to go and meet with him to get tips on how to become wealthy and different things like that. And before they went, they decided to get some more friends, some more people that also wanted to learn how to become wealthy and everything, so that they could be able to learn from this opportunity as well. So then they went and they spoke with Arcad. Arcad told them the story of how he used to didn't have anything, how he didn't come from wealth and everything like that. He just went into his backstory and he told them what this old man, I think the old man was name was like Agamanish or something like that. But he had came in and taught him this stuff. But wealth is power, because with wealth many things are possible. And that is so true, because if you got money, you literally can do anything you want to do. You could think of a business idea, you could think of something, and with wealth, with those finances, you already have the money to be able to go and do the things that you want to do. It makes it more difficult, and sometimes it causes us to be more stagnant to start going after the things that we want to do because we lack those finances. But something that I've learned, and this is getting a little sidetracked here, but something that I've learned is that, especially listening to Tony Robbins and Moett, Jay Shetty, all of these different people, is that you got to take action. Regardless, you have to take action, even if you don't have the finances right now, even if things don't look like, you don't know how it's going to work out and different things like that. You have to take those steps. But that's getting sidetracked. That's a whole nother message for a whole nother day. We're talking about the richest man in Babylon. Let me get back on track. So the old man told Arcad that a part of all you earn is yours to keep. What you save must earn, and its children must earn. You must pay yourself 10% off the top. Well, he didn't say off the top, but he said at first. You must pay yourself 1/10, basically, but that's basically 10%. And advice is one thing freely given away, but watch that you take only what is worth having. And basically, that boiled down to me to one, live off less than you earn. So basically, you got to start where you are. Start where you are as far as earning your finances. Start where you are as far as like saving your money. And that's a like, after beginning reading this book, especially like after I read this part, I sat down and I had a meeting with my kids, especially my oldest daughter, to let her know, like, yo, we need to start taking these things into account. Like, period. Like, even though I'm still, like, I can be completely honest, completely transparent, I'm still digging myself out of a hole right now. But you know what? The reality is, taking ownership of where I am and taking ownership of what needs to be changed. And the fact of the matter is, I have to start taking that money off to the side and putting it to the side so that way I can have that to be able to grow, to be able to invest, to be able to do other things that need to be done in order to continuously build wealth. You got to start with that 10%. Now, granted, I learned from a financial person that you need to live off of 70% of your income so that way you can put the 30% to the side. But like, I'm not at a place of being able to put the 30% right now. So, but I'm going to start where I am. And where I am, I can start at 10%. So the way that I've set it up, I have a job. I set it up for my direct deposit, 10% to go into another account where I don't see it, don't think about it. So that way I'm not even putting that into place. You know what I'm saying? But you got to live off of less than what you earn. And then you also, number two, you only take advice from experts of their own field. That's like, like Stormy Willinson is the number one recruiter in network marketing. So you take advice from her whenever it comes to recruiting, whenever it comes from building your team. Like Tony Robbins is one of the biggest, most influential people whenever it comes to personal development and different things like that. So you take advice from him whenever it comes to investing in things like that. It's not to say, because I know sometimes it makes it feel like, well, dang, what about those people that are just starting out, right? It's not to say that you can't take a chance on the people that are just starting out or believe in the people that are just starting out, but it is to say that you just got to be mindful of your choices, mindful of your decisions and different things like that. And then number three, put your money in a position to make money and multiply. So you got to invest in different things. Like I've also started looking at the Wall Street Trapper. He has Wall Street Looks Like Us now. And he talks about investing in ETFs and different things like that. So I'm starting to look into those things. So whenever I actually do have that money put to the side and that money accrued, then I'm able to be like, okay, let me put this to work so that way it can make more money. And that's the idea. You need to create a stream of income in regards to that. Now, in the next thing, it goes to talk about how the king saw that the city was lacking of people knowing how to acquire wealth. And then he hired Arcad to teach 100 men how to do it so they may teach others. And one of the first lessons, which goes back to the 7 rules of money acquisition that you see in the beginning of the book, but now Arcad is breaking it down like lesson by lesson. Lesson one is start that purse to fattening. And basically, it means if you have a job or a way of making money, you have the opportunity to build wealth. Everybody, if you have a job, if you have anything, I don't care if you ain't doing nothing but picking up cans and you taking them to the recycling bin to be able to make um $1 out of 15 cents. If you have a way of being able of making money, you have a way of starting to change the shift in your financial situation. Doesn't mean it's gonna be easy. No, I know that. I know that for a fact. I'm a living testimony. But it doesn't mean that it's gonna be easy. But you do have to take your time and you have to take that moment to be able to start making those disciplines and putting things in place so that way you're able to make a shift. Because if you don't change, if nothing changes, then things will always be the same. You can always expect to have financial difficulties if you don't start making necessary steps and taking necessary disciplines and taking necessary changes to be able to make those things happen. So if you have a job, you have any type of income coming in, then you got to start by putting 10% of everything that you get, put it up. Put it up and don't touch it. I don't care what it is, whatever, put it up. And the reality of the matter is, I know to some people, it's like, oh my God, well, how I'm going to do that? How I'm going to do that? This and the third, I got to do this, I got to do that, this and the third. And it's like, I get it. Believe me, I understand. But at some point, you have to decide, like, what I'm doing is more important than whatever, quote unquote, this is. What I'm doing is more important than staying where I am. What I'm doing is more important than making excuses as to why I can't start saving. Because you can start with 10%. It doesn't matter. If all you making is $100 a week, okay. Put aside $10 a week. Bam, there you go. You've already started the financial blueprint. You've already started the ball to rolling. That's good. And whenever you have a little bit more leeway, then put some more to the side, you know? But you got to start with that 10%. Start with that 10%. Start growing that. And number two, lesson number two, control thy expense. I always be mispronouncing this word sometimes, and it's so childish. But control thy expenditures. Expenditures. I think that's how you say it. Expenditures. Yeah. And that basically means that you got to create a budget and stop overspending. Period. At the end of the day, we believe me, I am the what's that phrase? Pot calling the kettle black. I am the pot calling the kettle black because I definitely have to sit down, and I've sat down time and time again creating a budget. And now is like, now that I'm making a commitment to really making the necessary changes, it's time to stick to that. Sit down and map you out a budget. See where your money is going. Direct where your money is going. If it's stuff that you don't really need, that you can do without, okay, do without it for right now. Because guess what? You're sacrificing it for right now, but you'll be able to pick it back up later. Now, if it's something that you got to have because it's for your business, different things like that, okay, definitely. I understand. Do that. You gotta do that. But other things like streaming services, different stuff like that, it's okay. Let it go. Let it go for a little while. You'll thank yourself later. Lesson number three, make thy goal multiply. And that basically means create a source of income. Start your money to making money for you. You're putting this money to the side, okay? See this money that you're putting to the side, see how you can invest it in other things so that way it's able to grow. It's able to grow and it's able to give you a good return on your investment. That's how the wealthy continue to stay wealthy and all of that stuff. And that's how you can do it also. And then step number four, well, lesson number four, guard thy treasures from loss. And it's basically being disciplined. Be disciplined in your spending and investing. Don't just go willy nilly doing stuff. You got to be focused. Be focused on the things that you want to do. Know how you want to do these things and stay committed to that process. Don't just try to make the changes. I'm talking about make the changes. Don't just try to go and jump and do something or go and make a major purchase just because all of a sudden now you making this money. It's like, hey, well, let me go splurge a little bit. Like, nah, you got to be disciplined. Be disciplined. And I think that's one of the biggest things as far as like being in a place of where you don't have all of those finances and stuff. For one, it makes you more appreciative of the process. It makes you more appreciative whenever you get it and everything. And it makes you more mindful. Sometimes it makes you just go out and be splurging. But we have to practice discipline. We have to practice discipline with the finances that we currently have. And I'm understanding that more and more, like each and every day. Like, you got to be more mindful of spending with the finances that you currently have. So that way, whenever you get more finances, then you're not just putting it all over the place or whatever. You're not just running yourself. That's how you see people that win the lottery or people that what's that other thing that I'm thinking of? They win the lottery and something else. I don't know. But or they win something big on those game shows and different stuff like that. And then next thing you know, you see them a little while later and they don't really have anything to show for it. Like, that's because they wasn't diligent over how they were spending their money, what they were doing with their money. And it's important to make sure that we're mindful of what we're spending our money on, what we're doing with our finances, how we're saving, how we're investing, and all of that stuff. Like, we have to be disciplined in those areas so that way we can continue to build wealth and all of that. Now, that's really all I got because I stopped at page 48. I didn't make it to page 71. I know I'm like, what's that, like 20 something off, but I mean, hey, I did. I feel like I did good. I feel good in regards to it. That means that next week I'm going to be reading pages 48 to 71. I don't know who else has read this book, who else is reading along with me, But I know I'm reading, so that's that. I know I do have a comment here. I have a message here. Sans Inspire says, I love this book. I'm going to check back after my wisdom talk, which is about value. Keep going. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Sans Inspire. You're amazing. This book is definitely great. This book is definitely a good read. It's if you're not reading it, I definitely suggest that you read it. You can read it with me. I'm on page 48. I'm reading pages 48 to 71 this upcoming week, and I'll be back next week to discuss it. But if you have read it, then you want to read it again, then hey, you're welcome to come and read it again. It's The Richest Man in Babylon. It's definitely a good book. It's a good read. And I don't say that lightly. I know that some people are like, oh, well, this book is great and blah, 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 blah. But this book is really good. This book is really good. It teaches you about finances. It teaches you about building wealth. It teaches you about the disciplines and the habits that you need in order to generate wealth, in order to build those things. And if that's something that you're interested in, it's definitely worth taking time to read this book. If you're not a part of the book club and you would like to be a part of the book club, definitely just click the link in my bio, click join the book club, and it's completely free to join the book club. Once you join the book club, you'll get access to my catalog of over 100 plus personal development books. Some of them I have read, a lot of them I have not. But that's another reason why I created the book club, because I'm always adding books in there. And I just wanted to start holding myself accountable for making sure that I read, because reading is fundamental as a part of your personal development. And I created this so that way I can hold myself accountable as far as reading. And also so that way other people can be along with me and read also. Those that choose to read with me, great, awesome, amazing. Those that don't, that's fine also. It's cool. I'm going to read either way. But I just created this platform to nurture personal development in the field of reading, because I'm really big on personal development. If you follow me on any of my social media, you see and you know that I'm really big on personal development. I have a motivational community that's aimed at personal development. There are resources in there, different things like that. I have this book club. It's for reading, because reading is fundamental. A lot of things, especially, not to get too far off topic here or to just start rambling, but a lot of things, especially whenever it comes to the Black community, they've always said that if you want to hide something from a Black person, quote unquote Black person, you put it in a book, because that is so true. And I have a guest that is waiting, so let me bring them on. One moment, Jason Kente, and they are coming in 3, 2, 1.
TGI, got it
Hello,
a second. I
Jason.
just wanted to applaud that you have a book club. I did check, just click on the link, but we haven't met before. But I'm actually president of a book club that's registered as in Canada as a company in penspowerclub.com. We're a division of Dream Livers Club Incorporated. In 2010, I had to sell my house, pay off the debts for my nonprofit, and I realized I had a poverty mindset, even though I worked at Microsoft Canada and Bill Gates came and talked to us in 98 and 99. And I know that quote, and that they normally say, man, if you want to hide something from a Black man, put it in a book. Not this Black man. I teach 5 steps of freedom from emotional abuse and misuse, 7 biblical principles for success in life that won me 7 scholarships in 96 and helped me retire as a millionaire at 45 last year. And it's because I started reading in 2010, read Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Law of Success, and over 100 books, because this one guy, he said he read one book, Think and Grow Rich, and he became a millionaire. And I said, if he could do that, I could do better. And I can tell you, before I got to book 110, I sold my investment property that I bought for 2000 in 2016 for $500,000 for $1 million last year, and I bought a bike and retired. So it works, and it's not just the reading. It's actually applying, of course, as I'm sure you know. I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. Like, people say things that aren't true, like Knowledge is power. That's like saying a big oil spill heats your house. Knowledge is potential power. If you don't apply that, then you'll still have no application. So saying knowledge is power is like saying when an Exxon oil spill spills in the ocean and kills all of the plant life, it heats up your house. Knowledge is not power, it's potential power. So I just want to congratulate you. It definitely works.
That is amazing. That is amazing. That is totally awesome. And it's amazing to be able to hear from a prominent person that is already doing those things, already has done those things. I'm sure made sacrifices to be able to make the necessary shifts, the necessary changes. So it's definitely good to hear from somebody that has been in those positions and everything. And you're right. It is important to apply what you're learning because that is like I can speak living testimony again, like everything that I say, I preach to the choir because I'm also talking to myself and everything. But like because I know so much, I've attended the seminars, I've attended the webinars, I've learned the things, different things. But it's like now is the time to take action because you got to take action. You got to take action on the things that you're learning. You got to take action on the things that you're reading because at the end of the day, if you're not applying any of this, if you're not trying any of these techniques, if you're not putting any of it to work, then it's just like, well, what the crap are you learning for? It's just like going to school and you just went to school just to sit there and now basically you don't know nothing because you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, for sure. It's like watching, you know, people do the baby making thing. It doesn't produce a baby. Now, I'm not saying that you should be doing that, right? Because I'm still waiting for marriage. But I'm saying, like, you could watch it all day. But the thing is, it doesn't produce anything for you unless you're actually doing the work. Okay, so I don't know if that was a good example. That's the first time I tried that example. But it doesn't produce a baby. Trust me, if you watch it, it doesn't. It does. It might make you want to do it, but it's like if you're not actually applying the thing, and that's why I think people don't understand the value because they're like, oh, I heard that before. I'm like, yes, but have you done it? Right? So it's definitely true that if you're applying knowledge, then it leads to freedom. You know what? One of our greats, African American, I'm actually black. I'm born in Toronto from Caribbean parents, but um, he said that once you learn to read, you'll be forever free, right? His name is escaping me, but the thing is, it's and it will come to me because I have to definitely give him credit. But he is very, phenomenal in terms of reading and knowledge. One of the first African Americans that actually learned to read and everything. But the thing is, it's not true because that's like saying once you learn to work out, you'll be forever fit. You
Yeah.
still have to do it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, I
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
remember
That's
like
true.
I started lifting weights, okay, but I prefer cardio and honestly, I learned how to lift weights. Do you think I look like what's his name? Um who's the big
The
guy?
rock.
The Rock because I lifted weights 5 years ago?
That is amazing. That is amazing. That's real though. That's very true. So let me ask you this. With all of the things that you've done, everything that you're doing and everything, what was your pivotal moment? Like what was that moment where you were like, all right, enough is enough. I have to make some changes.
Oh yeah, it was definitely. I was leading Toronto Poets, and I had such, uh, a nonprofit mindset. I had worked at Microsoft, so first of all, like 98, 99, I decided I didn't want to be like Bill Gates and said if he could do that, I could do better. So I incorporated a corporation that does everything for free, models the kingdom, and I'm like, okay, fine, that's fine. That shares the gospel, but then I still had to make money, so I went back to work at Microsoft, and I was fine. So then I loved poetry, so I had this concept, you start a club based on your passion, but you still have to fund it. So I was like, I didn't have a coach. And I think the biggest thing I've learned is you need to get a coach, because it's one thing you learn things, but you need somebody to show you. And this is what's happened with this generation, that we don't understand the values of having somebody guide us. And I know why. This is why. And it's a complicated thing what happened. Because everybody goes to school now, right, for the most part, you go to school and you get taught by somebody that doesn't necessarily guide you through things. So it wasn't like that before. Not everybody could go to school, right? So say back in Jesus's day, Jesus learned how to be a carpenter from his father. So everybody was apprenticed in something. So the woman, a female, even if they cooked, then she would teach her daughter how to cook. If they did something outside of the, house, they would teach their children how to do that thing. So now, because we go to school, there's a disconnect and people aren't apprenticed in everything. But you're not going to have somebody that is a plumber that didn't show them how to plumb. It's not just from reading a book, right? So the same thing with other things. So what happens is, because we write careers and professions, people think it's okay not to have somebody that guides you, to coach you through something. So people are going through their career without a guide and a coach. Maybe their daddy and their mommy didn't do what they want to do. So then all of a sudden, okay, fine if you don't want to be a farmer like your mom or pops or whatever, but that doesn't mean you don't need a coach. So I think a general thing I realized is I didn't have a business coach. I was trying to be an entrepreneur, but my dad was an academic and he was an accountant and a career person. So if I want to be an entrepreneur, I need a coach. So what I realized is I started reading these books and then I started getting coaching. And that's when things changed. So in 33, sold my house, paid off the debts, and started over. And that was the change that I realized I have to have a coach. So there's 7 steps to entrepreneurship millions, and even the simplest thing is 5 steps freedom. I also learned people can only remember 5 things at a time, really. So 1 is separate from abusers and users. 2 is love yourself. 3 is set boundaries. 4 is invest in eagles, and that's the coaching step. Eagles are people above you that love you, that'll challenge you to come up higher, and also encourage you. Both things, not just encourage you, because you're the young people, they like to, all the people from around your age, imagine a 5-year-old learning from a 5-year-old. You need somebody above you that loves you, that'll challenge you to come up higher, right? And also then you can, 5 is you can soar and live your god-given dream. So sorry, I read over 100 books. You asked me for one thing, I just gave you 5, but the one thing is that you need to be free, and there's 5 steps of freedom.
That is amazing. That is amazing. That is amazing. So really quick before I get ready to close up here, let the people know who you are, what you do, how they can connect with you, and all of that stuff.
Oh, thanks. And I definitely want to DM you about maybe being on my podcast, because I do a Set Free to Be Happy show. And just even just the fact that you're aspiring to get up there, you have 100 on your list. I have 100 that I've actually already read. I would love to encourage you to get there, because probably before 100 you'll be whole levels of freedom, unless you're choosing books read by written by 5-year-olds or something. Look, my name is Jason Bernard Humphreys Kinte. I'm the son of Bernard Humphreys, a scholarship winner that came to Canada on scholarship from Antigua and did his Bachelor of Commerce at the university formerly known as Ryerson. I'm a scholarship winner. I did my Bachelor of Commerce at the University of Toronto, worked as a co-op at Microsoft Canada in marketing in 98, 99. Bill Gates came and talked to us and said, if you could do that, I could do better. And I started where he is committed to ending off. I started giving away everything. I'm president of Free Shares Incorporated, the best at making people happy for free over 24 years. It's the only for-profit corporation in the world that I know of that's never charged anyone anything for anything and never will. Toronto Poets cost me my house in 2010, so now I'm president of PensPowerClub.com. We help people rise, be healthy, wealthy, and wise, and live their God-given dreams. We read books, write books, soar, and live our God-given dreams. We're doing a decade-long challenge, a Dream Decade Challenge, since 2010, challenging people to dream big dreams in a decade, write them down, and live them. Because Bill Gates has a quote: most of us overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. And it's a division of Dream Livers Club Inc. Since 2018. I'm living my dream, but we're operating as PensPowerClub.com this decade, Dream Livers Club next decade. I'm thorough.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming up and speaking today and all of that good stuff. Definitely DM me. I will be more than happy to be a part of whatever you have going on and different things like that. Thank you for your insight and everything like that.
Thanks. Keep up the
Ladies
good
and
work with the book
gentlemen,
club. I'm out.
All right, talk soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you guys that were just tuning in, I just had the pleasure of speaking with Jason. He's super amazing, super insightful, a super dope individual that has a lot of amazing, great intellect, great gems, all different type of stuff to teach about different things in life. Definitely excited about tapping in with him in regards to the things that he has going on. But we went over today book club, The Richest Man in Babylon, pages 22 through 48. This upcoming week, I'm going to be reading pages 48 to 71. I'm going to try to go beyond that, but I'm going to put it at 71. If you would like to read along with me, definitely, if you have the book, great. If you don't, join my book club. You get access to over 100 plus books, and The Richest Man in Babylon is one of them. Most of the books that I read in the book club are within my book catalog. For the very few handful that aren't in the book catalog, then you can find them on my Amazon storefront. Outside of that, I am about to dip up out of here. I'm going to answer the Wisdom Wednesday question for today. Once I get off of here, I'll post the replay to my YouTube. It'll also be here on the Wisdom app for you to be able to tap into, to listen to, and different things like that. Tap in with me, man. Things are continuously changing. Things are continuously transforming. I'm going live on Instagram. I am Moett, going live on Instagram at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's in about 29 minutes, 28 minutes to be exact, because I have some things to say and some things to talk about and some major announcements and different things like that. But definitely tap in. Link is in my bio. Everything I got going on, everything I'm tapped into. Tap in with what resonates with you. Connect, create. Remember that life is too short to be anything but motivated. Now get out there and turn your dreams into a vision and make this your reality. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.